Hello, Lawncare Legends, all around the world. UK guys, making some good friends out there, real nice guys out there. My name's Paul Camara. I've been nominated to do the Get to Know Me Challenge, and here we go. I'm from Rhode Island, and if you don't know where Rhode Island is a state just below Massachusetts, Boston. We make up a 6-state grouping of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island. And that makes New England. And not old England, New England. And we're pretty well known for our New England sports, New England Patriots, the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics. They're pretty much dominating quite a bit. But don't argue with me about sports. I'm not a sports guy. My wife is. If you want to argue with her, have at it. But for me, I never was really that much into sports. I was always into cars. And I own 2 antique muscle cars. I got a 74 Trans Am and a 79 Trans Am Pontiac cars. I've had the 79 since I was 18 years old, so many years I've had the 79. It's one of those, it resembles the car from Smokey and the Bandit. If you remember Smokey and the Bandit, the movie, it's that. So that's one of my hobbies. Other hobbies, I collect Japanese maples. I know it seems like a weird hobby, but I do. I got about over 30 Japanese maples on site, all different varieties, different colors, they're just beautiful to me. I have actually, my father propagated Japanese maples years ago, and I still have one of his here. I also study bonsai, which is the art of Japanese art of planting plants in pots. And you know, my hobby is my job. I love landscaping. I love my own property, topiary. It's actually a hobby of mine. I have a lot of passion for what I do, and I consider myself a craftsman when it comes to landscaping. I know, you know, people might argue that, but there is a craft to it. Okay, so first question. Let's see. First question is, how did I get into business? All right, well, that takes a little bit of time to tell that story. So here we go. My grandfather came from Portugal in the 50s at some point. I'm not sure when, but he came from Portugal and married my grandmother, and they started, he worked for a landscaping company. He was a stonemason, and he worked for a landscaping company. And after a couple of years, started Spring Green Landscaping and Masonry. Ran that for many years, had 2 daughters. One of those daughters is my mom. And when she became of age, they still did, you know, maid marriages. So they had a good Portuguese boy come from Portugal to marry her, and turned out to be my dad. They were married for 50 years. Unfortunately, my dad passed away in January. So we're coming up on a year on that. So, but they brought him here when he was 19 years old, and he went right to work for my grandfather, learning masonry. He was a farmer there, learning masonry and learning landscaping, and spent a good many years doing that. At 78, my father and my mom decided to venture off on their own, and they started PC Landscaping. PC stood for my father's name and the 2 sons' name, my brother Peter Camara, my name Paul Camara, my dad's name Peter Camara. So from that point, he was 19, didn't have any American or English, whatever you want to say, you know, no schooling here. And him and my mom made this great business. I mean, they had upwards of maybe 15, 20 guys at one time. And masonry crews, equipment crews, maintenance, landscaping. We were doing it all. Irrigation at one point too. So did that for many years. My father was a hard worker, very hard worker. Matter of, if anything broke, any kind of repairs, we had to do it in-house. I mean, it was instilled. Work ethic was so pushed on us. We had to do every repair, so we had to learn. We had to learn how to do clutches, engine rebuilds, transmission rebuilds, all of our equipment, two-cycle. I mean, we couldn't buy new ones. My father wouldn't buy new ones. We had to fix them, rebuild carburetors, do rings, short blocks. We had to do all of that stuff. And I, really glad that he did. Back then, I wasn't that happy about it, but really glad he did. Really put a lot of work ethic into us. So when I turned about 18 years old, he put me to task and he made me start taking over the landscape maintenance division. I didn't want to. I didn't like it. I enjoyed doing what I had been doing up until that point. I wasn't going to school, wasn't going to college, but that's what I wanted to work in the business. That's all I wanted to do was work in the business. But I wanted to work in the landscape construction, the design work, that kind of thing. That's where I wanted to be. But he pushed me towards the maintenance. So we had a small, it wasn't a huge part. The maintenance division wasn't huge, but we had a couple really good high-end detailed properties. Not many, but we had a couple. And I fell in love with working on those properties. Just getting carte blanche and just letting us do what we had to do. And that was great. And I really fell in love with that part. So, I think I spent 10 years or so, up until 1999, 2000, my father decided that he wanted to retire. And he was going to give me and my brother the business. And me and my brother really talked about it. We really stressed over it, and we didn't want to do that. We didn't want to be partners. So we opted not to do it. We're close, we get along, but if we went into business, it's the worst business to be in. People say partnerships are the worst business. Family business is the worst business, hands down. If you're in a family business and you're doing well, God bless you. It's a hard business to be in. So at that point, I went out on my own. He made me buy the business from him, the maintenance part of the business. He said it was okay if I bought the business, but I had to pay for it. So which I did. I bought it. We didn't have any, very small amount of customers. A lot of it was mow and blow. A lot of it really wasn't great, but we had those 2 or 3 awesome customers. And I did get those 2 or 3, and we did them well. And I renamed my business, Spring Green Landscaping, back to my grandfather's business name. And because of those 1 or 2 great customers, really built a reputation about doing excellent work. I'm always in the field. Like I said, I consider this a craft. It's a craft of, the design, the installation, and the maintenance of beautiful properties. And that's what we do. I don't really fiddle with a lot of, irrigation, fertilization, any of those things. I sub that out. I have a team of like-minded individuals that come in, my plant healthcare guys, and the houses that we do, I have to maintain them from top to bottom, and I actually have to be there to open gates up, it's a different animal when you get into these kind of jobs, and they're so much fun, especially when it works. So you're bringing in all the different subs and that's how it is. I got 3 guys working for me, and we really built a reputation on that. So that's the short story when it comes to how I got into it and where I am. Second question was, what if I would do anything different? No, I wouldn't do anything different. I'm where I am, and I'm ecstatic of where I am. I love being where I am. But if I have to answer the question, it's going to be, what I would do differently would be to learn technology earlier. I was always in the field, didn't have any interest in technology. I had a flip phone until just not that long ago. I didn't care. I had a Facebook page, but didn't use it, and then I started seeing the benefits of it. And that's the I struggle now with technology, like with this camera and phones and everything like that. It's a struggle. Computers, it's just a struggle. I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. But if I had started earlier, probably we'd be better off. The other question is social media, how social media has impacted. Now, I just got into social media, and I have a Facebook page for the business. I have a Facebook for my personal too, but for the business, how that has changed is just being able to show people that don't know the business what we're doing and how we're doing it. So yes, it does benefit it, but in the same token, I'm not really looking for new work. I can only do so much. There are actually, a couple of customers, a couple of people that have told us if we have room, or if a customer, falls off the list for whatever reason, to be able to give them a call that they would want us to take care of it, their property. So I'm really not looking for new work. We don't even have telephone numbers on the trucks or anything like that. I'm just happy where we are. I got 3 great guys that work for me. One who's younger that we're mentoring, and that's another thing I love to mentor. But yeah, social media has helped that way, with just being able to just to show what we can do and what we can't do. I don't have a website yet. Like I said, I'm behind the times, but I've had some great mentors. I've had, business mentors, work mentors. The guy, like I just said, one of the guys has been working for me since my father's day. He's been working for us for 19 years. He was a groundskeeper in Bermuda for the golf courses down there. And, I've learned so much from him. He's just meticulous the same way we are. He's actually turned into my best friend. So he's been with us for 19 years. He's going to be turning 64 this year. So that's going to be awesome. So that's it. That's the short story. We're 12 minutes into this thing, so let's cut it short. I have to nominate somebody, and I'm nominating Gary Chapman. I want to see what you're up to. I want to see what you're doing. I want to get to know you better. I think you got a great personality, great funny guy. So yeah, I want to hear what the dancing man has to say. And I got to give him a question. And the question is, when you first got into lawn care, was it as a side business or was it as a career change? Now, to simplify the question, is a lot of guys get into this as a side, either they're firemen or they're teachers and they have a little side gig and then they see that it's great and they grow. Or there's guys that just really get into it and start from the scratch. So that's that. So yeah, Gary, looking forward to hearing from you. And that's it. So Paul Camara, signing off, Lawncare Legends. Thank you very much.